The federal court order compelling the Department of Defense, DoD, to restore nearly 600 books removed from schools on military bases marks a significant legal pushback against politically motivated censorship in public education. The books, which largely address themes of race, gender, and LGBTQ+ identity, were deemed by the administration as promoting wokeness or divisive equity concepts. Summary and analysis. District Judge Patricia Tolliver Giles granted a preliminary injunction in a lawsuit filed by the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, on behalf of students in Department of Defense Education Activity (DoDEA) schools. The ruling specifically mandates the DoD to immediately return all removed books and curricular materials, a list that includes widely known titles like The Color Purple, The Handmaid's Tale, and the Heartstopper series, to the school libraries while the legal case proceeds. Key analysis. The judge's decisive finding was that the removals were not based on professional pedagogical concerns, but rather on improper partisan motivation and viewpoint discrimination. By rejecting the DoD's argument that the removal constituted protected government speech, the court affirmed that students in federal schools, like their counterparts in civilian public schools, retain a First Amendment right to access a diversity of information. The decision is a crucial legal precedent, reinforcing that the government cannot suppress ideas it simply dislikes. Reasons for the book removals. The censorship campaign was a direct result of several executive orders issued by the administration earlier this year. These orders were aimed at eliminating gender ideology and discriminatory equity concepts, a political shorthand for diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) initiatives, as well as critical race theory (CRT). Political ideology. The primary motivation was ideological. The administration sought to scrub content that challenged its conservative viewpoint on race, gender, and American history, attempting to impose a single, sanitized narrative on the education of military-connected children. Executive mandate. DoDEA administrators acted under memoranda directing federal agencies to prohibit instruction or promotion of these divisive concepts. This top-down political decree bypassed established professional book review processes typically involving librarians and educators. Targeting diverse voices. The overwhelming majority of the nearly 600 removed titles centered on the experiences of people of color, LGBTQ+ individuals, women's history, and discussions of racism and identity. The removals were a systematic effort to erase non-dominant perspectives from the curriculum. Consequences of the censorship. The actions taken by the DoD have created a cascade of negative consequences affecting students and the integrity of the educational system. Violation of rights. The most significant consequence is the violation of students' First Amendment rights to receive information. The court recognized that denying access to diverse and age-appropriate books causes real educational and psychological harm. Chilling effect. The opaque process in mass removal created a chilling effect, with students and teachers reporting fear of discussing topics like race and gender, leading to self-censorship in the classroom. Lessons on Black History Month and parts of the Advanced Placement AP Psychology curriculum were curtailed. Negative impact on diverse students. Military families are highly diverse. Censoring books that reflect the history and identities of non-white or LGBTQ+ students, many of whom already face the unique challenges of high mobility and instability, sends a message of marginalization and non-belonging, which can undermine morale and readiness within the military community. Prediction and solutions. While the preliminary injunction is a major victory, the legal fight is ongoing, and the broader political controversy over book banning is intensifying across the country. Prediction. The DoD is likely to appeal the preliminary injunction, extending the litigation. However, the ruling's strong defense of students' First Amendment rights suggests a high hurdle for the government to overcome in a final ruling. If upheld, the decision will serve as a powerful judicial precedent against politically motivated book bans in all federally run schools and potentially in state public schools, limiting the use of the government speech doctrine as a defense for censorship. Solutions. Preventing future politically driven book bans requires action on multiple fronts. Legislative protection. Congress could pass legislation, such as the proposed Stop Censoring Military Families Act, which would codify the restoration of all removed books, establish an independent body for curricula determination at DoDEA schools, and prohibit future administrations from implementing ideologically motivated executive orders that lead to censorship. Reinforcing professional autonomy, DoDEA must be structurally insulated from partisan political influence. This involves reaffirming the authority of professional school librarians and educators to manage collections based on established selection policies, not political memos. Community engagement. Actively engaging military families, including students, in the library and curriculum review process ensures transparency and builds a consensus that diverse, inclusive collections are vital to preparing military children for a diverse world. The court's order is a critical affirmation that a library is a marketplace of ideas, and that the government, even in its own schools, cannot weaponize its authority to restrict viewpoints. It reestablishes that the right to read is fundamental, and that education must be guided by academic freedom, not ideological conformity.